Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports and 3Chi. Today we are here for a quick hitter on Miss Marvel. Clem, we talked about this. Before Miss Marvel premiered, we were like, are we going to do recaps of Miss Marvel? Are we going to do quick hitters of Miss Marvel? It doesn't really look like a show for us. It kind of looks like maybe an iCarly, Victorious type show made for little girls, which is good. We're glad that, you're getting them into the MCU, but maybe this just isn't for us. And shame on us for not trusting the Feige, Clem, because this first episode was pretty fucking great. I loved it.
I have to get a tattoo of Trust the Feige. We made Kevin Feige shirts, but I just have to put it on myself. The one people have breathe, remember to breathe.
Yeah.
Remember.
Why not?
Yeah, there we go. Why not? I'm gonna get Trust the Feige on my wrist. You dumb fuck. Just believe in this guy. If he greenlights something and lets it go to our eyeballs, it's gonna be good. And I think this episode at least proved two things. One, this is clearly going to be a show not directed towards us. It's towards little girls for sure, but just kids. It's a kid show. It's basically a kids or a tweeners show. What are they? Tweens, right? That's the thing.
Tweens, yeah. It's like a young adult novel of the MCU.
Yeah. And it's just going to probably be really well done and have a shitload of Marvel hits in it because it's in the MCU. And I welcome it. Bring it on. I'm going to get Sienna into it. And I've realized this is something that your perspective changes as you get older or have kids. I had a sister. I don't know why I didn't think this at the time when I was younger. When Sienna is looking through the Marvel books or there's something on TV or she's playing a video game, she likes the girl characters because she's a girl. That's what she identifies with. And it makes sense to get at least one of them in here who's a pretty important piece. And listen, we need all the fucking help we can get. Kang is coming, kids. And we need anyone who has any sort of powers to get on deck. It's all hands on deck, to borrow a fucking lame corporate term. We need every fucking hand we can get on this deck right now because that motherfucker sounds like a bad dude. So shout out Miss Marvel. Welcome to the family. And like you said, it starts. Blinding Lights comes on by the weekend. I'm like, I love this song. You have my attention. And they fucking give us the Marvel Studio graphic. It changes right to kind of a little cut up, gives you that someone said Spider-Man vibes where it's a comic booky with the art. And then
Ken Jack said Mitchell's versus the Machines, which I thought was actually a pretty good comparison.
Great comparison. And then we get to relive the Battle of Earth, which we just said our last what podcast was it? We were saying, I don't remember the actual
Very
name.
Recently.
Yeah, we're like, what's the name of that? What is it considered? Because Battle of New York is technically the first Avengers. The Battle of Earth makes perfect sense. And I got to see the T-Man, even though he got his ass knocked out by Captain Marvel. And again, remember when people said Captain Marvel didn't do anything in Endgame? And we're just like, what are you talking about? She was the greatest eighth man of all time. She came in, lit some shit up, and fucking even the odds for a little bit there and caused the spaceship to go down. Huge fucking pop for Captain Marvel. And the Ant-Man podcast, finding out Ant-Man has a podcast.
So good.
That's the kind of shit I like. If this show kind of gives the MCU a little dose of our reality where you find out this guy's on podcasts, from what I can gather, The Boys is like that, where it's if this happened if superheroes were in our world, bring the MCU down a little bit to where it's not this grandiose comic book, but it feels a little more like everyday life. And Ant-Man having a podcast would be the absolute perfect fucking way. I think Thor's a gamer, maybe a little, maybe we're going to get a little bit of Korg and his old Fortnite, dealings from Endgame's past.
I loved the entire intro. I wrote down that is unbelievably creative. It's not a home run. It's a grand slam in my eyes because it sold me on the show. The first couple minutes I was in. And I thought maybe I wouldn't be able to relate to Miss Marvel so much. She's a kid from Jersey City, obsessed with superheroes, who runs a struggling YouTube channel and listens to podcasts all day. Clem, we are Miss Marvel. We are Kamala Khan.
We're Mr. and Sir Marvel, basically. That's us. Yeah. And it kind of hits all those typical teen kid show pings, right? It's she's a nerd. She has her BFF, who's usually from the opposite sex, a little bit of a nerd. The mom is always up in her shit. It checked all those boxes.
Wants to sneak out. That's such a classic trope, is trying to get out to go to something. That's how the Jimmy Neutron movie starts. That's what I thought of immediately.
Clarissa explains it all. There's always a ladder going into a room for the olds like me that are watching it that remember when that was on Nickelodeon. Shout out Melissa Joan Hart.
Quick notes I had. Jersey City I thought looked awesome. I loved how they incorporated the graffiti, the moving graffiti and stuff. If you've been to Jersey City, graffiti all over the place and cool graffiti, legit art all over the walls. Halal guys joke, that was great when they're like, they charge extra for salsa at Halal guys. Again, if you don't know Halal guys, if you're not from the area, New York, oh my God, the best food carts you could ever imagine.
Big white sauce guy, Bob?
With the sauce.
Are you?
But you got to be careful with the sauce. Just that you put a little bit, and that's enough for me.
Bob Fox's Tum Tum is known. It's on the sus list, 24/7 on the sus
list. It is. The Big Brother. I loved the Big Brother. The Big Brother going and talking to the parents for her. I've been there, done that with my big brother and sister. So I respected that move a lot.
And I know that this is getting like a little bit of the review bombs and all that stuff. It's because the little girls in it, the Arabic, they don't want to see the Arabic superhero, all that kind of stuff. I think that stuff's just silly. But I did also see people who are Arab being like, the older brother kind of just all the hopes pinning on him and kind of just riding it. And she gets all the shit, as the second kid. I always like when it's like those cultural things blend into, fiction. I thought that was.
I like learning about like the different cultural things. Like, I feel like it's going to sound ridiculous for me to say this. I could just go on Wikipedia or something and look this stuff up. But I'm actually going to learn about this culture through Ms. Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And a culture, or not even a culture, something we could all relate to. I love the driving test where it's like, it is a little absurd that she does crash on her like beginning of her driving test, but we've all been there before. The nerves are kicking. Did Bob Fox pass his driving test on the first try? Oh, no, Bob.
I failed it on my birthday. I tried to parallel park and I went up on the curb.
See, now you're Mr.
So
Marvel.
Relatable. I know. I watched this whole episode and I was just like, yes, they get me.
I was gonna say you're the Leo DiCaprio pointing meme. I think you're the Spider-Man pointing meme at this point. You and Miss Marvel.
Literally. Miss Marvel.
Someone do a Photoshop. It's Robbie pointing at Miss Marvel with her super long arm, and they're pointing at each other because basically I'm watching my boy's biography play on screen. I passed my driving test the first time. However, I admit I waited a full year. I was really in no rush to get my license, which, by the way, you took it on your birthday. So does that mean you took it at 16 on your 16th birthday?
No, 17 in Jersey.
17. Okay, yeah, okay. So I took it on I think a week before my 17th birthday. I passed. However, there were two places, and I don't know how common this is, for different towns or whatever. There was two places to take the test. There was the quote unquote easy place and the quote unquote hard place. And I still remember a group of Mayapack. Carmel was the hard place. And I've never met the woman, but I just know you don't want to get the fat lady is what I was told. And then there was Yorktown, which was the easy place. And that's where I took it. I had a guy pretty cool guy in like his 40s or 50s. And I took the test and I'm driving. And again, just like you said with your issue, everyone fears the parallel parking, which for up here in like Winterfell, you have to parallel park only when like basically you drive to the city, right? And I did my parallel parking. I could tell I was kind of a little slanted, a little on the road. I go, how is this? And he goes, what do you think? And I go, all right. And I did it again, nailed it, and passed the test. So I hate to hear my boy Bob failed his first time, but now we're learning that like we're watching Mr. Marvel's origin story day by day on Barstool with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was the worst. You get family texting you all day. Happy birthday. Did you pass the test? Every family member, you got to be like, thanks. No.
So let's see, what year was that? My 13th birthday was ruined by Patrick Ewing's finger roll. It bounced off the back rim against Indiana, losing Game 7. Your 17th birthday was ruined by, hey, Bob, Robbie, how does the test? My little driver. It's like, not so fast, my friend. Oh, that's brutal.
The whole episode centers around her wanting to go to AvengerCon, the first ever AvengerCon, which Kevin Feige said could actually become a reality in real life. I would love that. I mean, Comic-Con basically is AvengerCon at this point because that's the stuff that's all the way out there. But if they do the first ever AvengerCon, and in the show it takes place in Camp Lehigh, which I loved, the home of Captain America, they got to do it in Jersey. Kevin Feige's a Jersey boy. Stay true to the show. Do the first AvengerCon in Jersey. Me and Clem will be there.
I was going to say, the basement boys don't have to fly there. So
exactly.
We're 100% in for AvengerCon. And again, that's just one of those things that just kind of tickles the fancy. And then you're like, could this happen in real life? And just the whole vibe of how it'd be like, these guys literally save the world and they are these comic book life-size characters. It would be absolutely awesome if that happened in real life. I would fucking love it. And I did make the note, my boy Bob seeing the home of Captain America. We may have our differences over what he did and didn't know and what he should have done, but that always hits the spot right there.
The fact that it's Jersey too. I love that.
You know what broke my heart though? When her parents were so excited to go to AvengerCon and the dad was going to dress up as Hulk. And she made the Hulk outfit. And then I saw both sides in it too. Cause like the dad was all dressed up, all fired up. She made that shit, which seems like it was a lot of work. But at the same point, it's like, yo, it's like making me a fucking custom Yankee jersey. It's like, I'm a Mets fan. You have your character, Captain Marvel. If someone made you the Iron Man suit, you'd be like, Cap's my guy, though. You can't be doing that. So that one hurt to see. And I also did love, you mentioned the graffiti and kind of just the whole layout of Jersey City, the text messaging scene that they had where the texts were popping up everywhere. That was a very unique way to go about it. I don't know if they'll do that every episode or maybe just for this episode, but that is a cool modern take on technology. I always love when movies made in present day kind of incorporate texting, because that is so much of everyone's lives at this point.
Absolutely. I made a note of that. I said, that's such a creative texting scene. Like, I absolutely love that, the way it went up and there was the stuff in the background and all of that. Once they actually get to AvengerCon, one of my favorite lines of the episode is when kind of like the former friend turned popular girl shows up in a Miss Marvel outfit. She's like, she doesn't even like the Avengers. That was such a relatable, like, you see someone in a band tee, and you're like, you don't even like Black Sabbath or whatever.
You're an Avengers fan? Name one of the heroes. It's just like with sports. You're a Yankee fan? Name one of the Yankees. And don't say Giancarlo.
The friend just putting on a lab coat and her being like, what are you doing? He's like, it's Bruce Banner. It's like such an easy, like, someone that shows up to the Halloween party last minute. And they're like, I don't know. I did that once. I think I showed up in like a flannel, a Motley Crue shirt, and a blonde wig. I was like, I'm Garth.
Nice. I like it.
Or it was really just what I was wearing that day with a blonde wig.
And then all the punks who get older just wearing camouflage to egg houses. Like, I'm an army man. That's all I am.
There you go. Yeah. And then the scene where she gets her powers, I thought was pretty cool. Now, I know some people are upset they changed her powers from the comics. I'm not a Miss Marvel guy, so I don't have that connection. I don't know what the difference is from the comics to the show. This reminded me a little bit with the bracelet of the 10 rings, Shang-Chi and the 10 rings. She clips that on and then it, creates her arm and everything. I thought really good episode, really good ending to the episode where the mom catches her. I don't even know you anymore, Kamala. And then my final note, do you think we're going to get a Captain Marvel cameo at some point in this show? Do you think like at the end of the show, she's going to meet Captain Marvel? Because we know she is in the next Captain Marvel movie, The Marvels.
Yes. So I think I didn't think that going into it. Now I think I'll be disappointed and shocked if it doesn't happen now that you mention it. Bob Fox, you've been on the ball lately, Bob. I'm telling you, have your episode 1 theories. You had that with our Obi-Wan, which, by the way, watch our Obi-Wan recaps if you aren't watching or listening. Those are on the podcast feed as well. But that's a good call. And listen, the mom, like your daughter going out and sneaking back in after hanging out with a bunch of nerds at AvengerCon, count your fucking blessings, lady. Like
there's a skimpy outfit. It wasn't skimpy in the slightest. It covered everything. Literally neck down. It covered everything.
The mom stinks. Let's just call it is. She absolutely stinks.
The mom stinks, but the dad doesn't. The dad's kind of my guy.
The dad rules. Exactly. I don't know if you picked up on this, but and I only picked up on it because of the closed captionings. But in the beginning, she's like, Kamala, you're such a dreamer. My mother was a dreamer. And then Nana's the one who sends the rings. There's something up with Nana. She's clearly got or Nani or whatever the grandma name is for her. Obviously.
And is that why they're trying to get her away from the superhero shit?
1,000%. Little bit of like trying to get Luke out of dreaming of flying, in the galaxy and becoming a Jedi like his father before him, stuff like that. So that was kind of my take on it. I hate to do this. I'm doing it anyway. I don't give a fuck. Bruno, I don't think he's on the sus list, but he had his little outfit. The top of his head looked like a Black Bolt symbol. I don't know if you noticed that when he was wearing that little helmet.
No.
So I don't think he's sus, but I do think there's going to be something coming out of Bruno. When you're that fucking technologically sound at such a young age, something's coming out of you.
True.
It's coming around, whether or not it becomes a villain down the road or what.
I also when they flashed the pictures of like, I think what they imagined, was he the one like dressed as Tony Stark? He had like the little goatee on.
I didn't see that.
I think it might have been him. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out again. And I also loved their plans when they're talking about, hey, we're gonna leave the house at exactly 8:58. We're gonna go there, and they get on the school bus right perfectly. And in your brain as a kid, the plans always work out without a flaw. And the minute you leave the house, there's 1,000 obstacles that pop up immediately. So that was very realistic. I love how they brought that into the thing as well. And you kind of mentioned it. We don't get a lot of the background on Miss Marvel. We didn't even have time to get Jose on just because of schedules and everything. However, I did see that there is a Miss Marvel like background of her on Disney. There's like, I think, a quick video, so you could watch it there. And I do think people were saying, remember at the end of Shang-Chi, they said there's like these like ancient markings or something like that. Whether or not it has anything to do with the bracelets she got, I do think there could be something that all adds up together with some sort of big reveal for Marvel, because we're kind of going with
maybe that's how Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel finds Miss Marvel, because she was in that Shang-Chi post-credit scene.
That's a good point. And there is
what if the bracelet is, something like that? There is a post-credit scene in this. Yeah, we got the guys from No Way Home.
Yeah, so there is a post-credit scene in this. If you missed it, go check it out. Nothing like, mind-shattering, but you have to kind of keep, the radar up every single episode now that there could be a post-credit scene if they're doing it episode 1.
Yeah, that was our thoughts on Miss Marvel episode 1, quick hitter thoughts. Overall, this show is way worth watching. If you haven't watched it and you watched our recap, we appreciate it, but go back and watch it because it is really, really well done pilot episode.
The official rating of the Basement Boys for Miss Marvel episode 1, to borrow the what was it? What was the name of the show? Chapsy's old show.
High Haters?
No. His liquor review show when he used to
Actually Good.
Actually Good. That's what we're gonna say. Actually Good is our Basement Boys review for episode 1 of Miss Marvel. Give it a shot if you haven't yet, if you were kind of on the fence about it.
And we'll be back for episode 2. We don't know schedule-wise when we're going to do these episodes necessarily, because I'm on vacation right now. Don't say I didn't love the Basement Boys and Girls doing it from the Airbnb.
Yeah,
but
Fox.
We will have weekly quick hitters for Miss Marvel because this show is definitely worth covering.
Hell yeah.